Charleston Southern head coach Gabe Giardina, a team coming off a last-second loss to Gardner-Webb in the North-South Barbecue Bowl this week. They were at home. They're going to nationally ranked Tennessee Tech comes to town Saturday afternoon. Coach, thoughts on your team, and then we'll go to some questions.
Yeah, I think our team competed with tremendous heart last Saturday. They showed an incredible amount of fight to make a couple of comebacks to get the game tied. They're with 2 minutes to go or less than 2 minutes to go. So really just proud of our team. Nothing really I can say to them to take the pain of that. The last play of the game away, but we sure show the type of mental fortitude, toughness. Got a bunch of guys playing banged up and not making excuses. So really just proud of the guys, and to be able to make the plays in critical moments to get ourselves tied, was just an incredible effort by all of our players on all three phases. Certainly have to finish the halves better, give up the Hail Mary at the end of the first half, got people there. And then, just the end of the game, just wasn't satisfied with the whole way the thing was administered, but that's, it's part of the deal, and we got to make the plays and got to make field goals, and we're going to learn the lessons and move on, and got a tremendous, we just keep talking about opportunity. We're done talking about adversity and all those things. We just keep talking about opportunity with our team. I think they're ready to meet the next challenge, but certainly trying to stay internally focused on what we can do to improve. I think that's the big thing, is we just want to keep improving every week.
I mean, I was just watching the game, but from my standpoint, it seemed like three different games. It's 3-0, and you all, take the lead late in the second quarter. You mentioned the Hail Mary. There's no scoring in the third, and then it's just a crazy fourth. What makes a game like that so different, like having so many different variations of how it's played?
Well, I think, we got to be consistent. We got to come out in the third quarter and be a little better, just period for us. I think it's an area where we can improve just as a team in general, if you look across all of our games. But just being consistent and kind of executing, what we're trying to do. And, I like I said, I'm just proud of the way that we were able to, score 20 in the fourth quarter and get ourselves in, a chance to go to overtime. Proud of Zach for making the last PAT, because he had missed the one before. And it's just this football, it's going to be ebbs and flows. It's kind of like life. There are seasons of life that and even months of life where there are tremendous highs and tremendous lows. And so we just got to be built tough and built to last, obviously relying on each other, relying on our faith in the Lord. And that's a Jesus thing. And that's something we talk about all the time, but also, just the chemistry and faith in the team. And our guys, they're not flinching in these big moments. But we had a close one the week before, and we're able to get it done. So we know what it feels like to get it done. And obviously, you hate when you don't get it done, because it's obviously a range of emotions. But I think we're doing a good job of being steady in our preparation.
Either last week, the week before, I asked you about Marion, and then he had 89-yard run when you're all down 10 points, which was one of the biggest of the game, 175 yards in the day. So maybe can you talk about that, how that play, it worked out, that he got so open, or the gap was so big for him, and then I guess just his performance.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a halftime sideline adjustment that we had made. It was a run that we didn't necessarily have in the game plan to start with, and so it's kind of we had the scheme, but not the total package there. And so it was a really great job by our left tackle, Colin Sorensen, by just blocking his rules, and he really kind of gets feathers the defensive end, and then adds up to a linebacker, and he just blocked the tracks the right way that time, and it was it's obviously nice to have someone you can turn around and hand it off to and go 89 and outrun the whole secondary. And that's a tailback. Usually that's reserved for receivers, So KB's a fun guy to block for because he runs so hard. It was a tremendous run to tie the game, right after the 2-minute timeout, ran a little counter deal and breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage. And then, a lot of guys on our team finishing on that play. And obviously, he's, again, fun to block for, inspiring to block for when guys run hard like that.
Justin Waters has 7 forced fumbles this year, which is 3 more than any Division One player, FBS or FCS, and he had 19 tackles. But what is he doing to get his hand on the ball and getting it, forcing those fumbles?
Well, I think it's first of all, I mean, Justin, he's kind of the quarterback of the defense, and he made some special teams tackles out there for us. He's just super reliable. I think we've put an emphasis on those things, and we always call him Mega Man all the time. He's got these massive hands, and I think it's something that he's probably been doing since high school, but it's something that he's obviously seen a lot of fruit out of this year. Broke his hand last year, so had this big massive cast on. Couldn't quite, I guess, be the same guy. But Justin is a better person than he is a player, and he's gonna be a I guess a major impact on whatever community he decides to live in beyond graduation. And I think for us in our programming, that's the obviously we want to win. Obviously we want to be excellent on the field, but we also want to be excellent off of it. And I think Justin, is just one of many guys that, exemplifies all those character things. And I'm glad if I did have a sister his age, I'd be like, hey, you need to date that guy. So,
you referenced Tennessee Tech a little bit in the beginning. They are scoring 56 points a game. So can you talk about them and just what you've seen on tape?
Yeah, I mean they're really good in all 3 phases. I think they're over 520 yards, 530, a game. I think they lead the nation in like rush defense and maybe total defense. I don't know if they've, nobody's last 2 weeks and really the whole season nobody's rushed it over 50 a game, and so they have a lot of good players. Coach Walter's done a good job of even creating, beyond the talent, though. I think it looks like they have great team chemistry. They play very hard. They play a lot of guys. I mean, they rotate, looks like 15 plus D linemen, and very opportunistic when the ball's in the air. And then from an offensive standpoint, the quarterback's played incredible. He's been awesome. We got 2 great backs, amongst really, it looks like a crowded backfield. Actually, with a lot of guys being productive and certainly very good up front. And you better know where Noah Robinson is. The guy scored 5 times. Lord have mercy. We know him from the old Robert Morris days, and he's just one of many they have out there. The Holloway kid, the Jones kid, the Sullivan kid. They have a lot of weapons. Very good football team. Very obviously well coached and done a good job in all 3 phases.
You said opportunistic. They have a pick 6 the last 2 weeks. They almost had 2 last week. Like, how do you prevent that, like on your end, and do not do what the other opponents did?
Well, we just got to be we got to take care of the football, but that has to do, I think, more with our own preparation and execution and putting a good plan together. They do a lot of things on defense that give you a lot of problems, and so we just got to be, smart and intelligent with the way that we call plays and kind of run our schemes and stuff, so that we can take care of the football. We did a really good job of that against Gardner Webb. We had no turnovers, which was great. First time all season. So, you hope, you kind of, get in your rhythm here of practice and what we've kind of want to do. So now we got to be consistent at that, and so, they're obviously, a handful. They're really good situationally too. Third down offense are over 50%. And then obviously, getting the turnovers and they don't play a lot of plays on defense, which means they're getting off the field. You turn on special teams tape and you expect to see a certain number of like punts. They ain't punted very much. You know what I'm saying? They punted maybe 14 times, something like that. They just they got a lot of things that give you a lot of problems.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time as always. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, thanks, Kyle.